All right, I'm just going to start off. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in, especially on this weekend. I'm Zinnia Bharucha. I am a facilitator at Illuminations. I am a holistic psychologist and relationship counselor, and I use a combination of various healing modalities, psychological tools, and techniques to deal effectively with the mind and body so that massive shifts and changes can come in easily and I can help each one of you progress ahead in life much faster. Today's topic, grow through what you go through, is a very interesting and a very important topic, especially in this quarantine period, because as we all know, since we are all so tied down in our own respective homes, communication becomes a must, whether it's in our relationships with our near and dear ones, such as our family members, or it's in our relationship with our partners, or it's in the way we communicate with our own selves to understand our relationships better, or it is in our communication with our children or with other people. Now, today I'm going to teach each one of you how to empower your relationships in a much better manner, how to identify if you know you're stuck up in any toxic relationship at all, and how to find your way out of it, and how to improve up on your communication as well. In the end, we will also be doing a very powerful experiential session where you will be able to harmonize that one particular specific relationship that you want to work on. Now, when I talk about relationship, I don't just mean, relationship with your loved one or, relationship with your spouse or partner. Relationships could mean basically anything over here, ranging from relationships that you've experienced in your career, in your workspace, with your friends, in your family, or with absolutely anyone else. So we're just going to move a little bit ahead. What is basically, or what are the types of relationships? There are basically two types of relationships. The first is a harmonious relationship, and the second is a toxic relationship. Now, what is the major difference between the two? A harmonious relationship is a relationship in which there is an equal weightage for both the partners. Both of them have an equal say, both of them are contributing in an equal manner, there is equal respect in every way, and healthy boundaries are established. A harmonious relationship is the one that is functioning from love and from care and from affection in the truest, purest way possible. Whereas a toxic relationship, on the other end, is the one where there are no healthy boundaries that are established, first of all. A toxic relationship is usually comprising wherein one of the individuals is either a manipulator and the other individual is the victim. Now, what do I mean by a manipulator and by a victim? A manipulator is basically someone who has sort of a higher or an upper end in the relationship, is the one that's playing a more dominant role. The manipulator is the one that has the end say after all in everything, and the manipulator is the one that tends to manipulate the situation or the relationship in such a manner that the opposite person tends to get caught up in this web of lies and toxicity and gets distorted from reality. Whereas the other person, which is usually the victim, is the one that is adapting more, is the one that is more flexible, is the one that adjusts a lot more. The victim is the one that is trying very hard to please the manipulator, is the one that is trying really hard to sustain the relationship, no matter what kind or type of relationship this is. Usually the victim is the one that has sort of a lower say and has a lower role in the entire relationship also. Now, the manipulator and the victim, the roles that we play, we could either be shifting these roles in the relationship that we are sharing, depending on how or what sort of relationship it is, or we could be shifting roles in different areas in different relationships also. So, for example, if I might be the manipulator in one area, probably in my workspace, then I might be the victim when it might be in my relationship area if I'm caught up in this toxic relationship in both these areas. If it's a harmonious relationship, I will just be playing the role of an equal partner, an equal individual who's contributing in the relationship the right way. So that is how the two differ. Now, in a toxic relationship also, it is a toxic relationship if one of the partners or both the partners or individuals are bringing forward their past wounds unconsciously, and they're bleeding forward their past wounds, in those relationships. Then also it's a toxic relationship, and it can have a major effect because of that. Whereas in a harmonious relationship, it's not that past stuff or things might not be brought in. They will be, but they are dealt with often in a very relaxed, in an easygoing, in a harmonious manner. Whereas on the contrary, in the toxic relationship, the past wounds are not closed off, and they tend to bleed excessively and massively. In a harmonious relationship, either one of the partners or both are usually coming in from a space of trauma and rejection and hurt and more emptiness, and in a sort of a more dysfunctional space as compared to in a harmonious relationship. Also, in a toxic relationship, there will be signs of addiction. Now, here by addiction, I just don't mean alcohol addiction or substance abuse. Addiction and the intensity of this addiction could be as minor and for as simple things such as eating or using sleep. So either sleeping too excessively or not sleeping at all. Oh, sorry, or working excessively, so becoming a workaholic. All of these sort of addictions could also be used in to run that toxic relationship even further. In a toxic relationship, it has usually a ripple negative effect that's created and that's carried forward because of the void or the emptiness that the person is functioning from. So this negativity tends to seep in the relationship, and often because of this, the people involved in the relationship are unconsciously always at unrest. They are always feeling very uncomfortable. They're always the ones who feel very distorted and hurt because of this. So in this toxic relationship, deep down, these people, or you, if you're caught up in a toxic relationship, might end up realizing that you're not fully feeling satisfied, or you're not fully feeling relaxed, or you're not fully feeling happy. Then you might also get an idea that probably you could be stuck up in a toxic relationship. And in a toxic relationship, the manipulator will always underplay their toxic behavior. So even if you might end up, catching up on the manipulator's actions or behavior, or you might find out times when you've identified their lies, or the way that they've manipulated, or the way that they've hidden that relationship, the manipulator will change this, will convert this, and will manipulate it so easily that you will end up, um, getting confused, and you will end up not being sure about what you thought. So the manipulator will always underplay their actions. So for example, you've caught up on your partner lying to you. Then the partner will say something like, oh, I never did this, or I think you've just misunderstood me doing this, or I don't think it was me. If you've seen your partner in a restaurant with someone else, the partner will say, I don't think that was me, I was just working at that same point of time. Or they might say, oh, I was actually in a major conference, or are you sure you actually saw me, or did you not end up seeing my cousin? Something like that, wherein they manipulate and they distort the whole thing excessively. and they underplay their toxic behavior. So if they're coming in and they're drinking every weekend, they will underplay it with saying, oh, it's just 2 pegs, or it's nothing much, and I've had a really bad week and I really need to feel relaxed, and I'm drinking because I can feel much more calm and much more harmonious. That's how they underplay their toxic behavior. um, in a toxic relationship, you will always feel that the major issues or the problems are basically, you will consider them as shortcomings or minor glitches, because of which you will be bending over much more than what you need to, without realizing and understanding, and that in harmonious relationships you can have minor glitches, but in toxic relationships the glitches or the problems are not minor actually, but they are extensive, they are major, they are disastrous in massive ways. In a toxic relationship, you might be getting subjected to physical abuse. If not physical abuse, for example, then mental torture or emotional under emotional downplaying. Always your partner affecting your self-esteem, your partner always taking blaming you, your partner always making you ensure that your self-confidence is at an all-time low, then these are not minor glitches. These are major issues that are cropping up that need to be dealt with the right way. And lastly, like I said, there have to be healthy boundaries that need to be established. Unfortunately, in toxic relationships, these healthy boundaries are not established the right way, and this can further create a lot of problems and issues. So make sure that there are healthy boundaries that are established and that you can help yourself out. For example, a healthy boundary could be something that from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. we're both going to work, and then 7 p.m. onwards we're going to spend time with each other. Or a healthy boundary could be that I expect transparency and honesty from you. That could be a healthy boundary. Whereas a toxic relationship would have no such boundary, where your partner or whoever it is will continuously to tend to impose themselves on you. There will be a lot of enmeshing that might be going on. Honoring your privacy or respecting your time or respecting you as an individual is not understood in the whole equation. Then you know that you're stuck up in a toxic relationship. Now, the intensity of experiencing this toxicity or being stuck in this toxic relationship could be massive or could be minor, irrespective. But whatever it is, we still need to find our way around it, because this can have disastrous effects if not dealt with the right way. So I'm gradually going to move on to providing each one of you with tips and tools and techniques that you can use, to help yourself establish a more harmonious relationship, to help yourself improve up on your relationships that have already been established in the past, and to help you communicate in a healthy manner. But before that, if there are any questions, you can please put them down in the chat option to me. I will read them, I will respond to them, and then we'll be moving ahead. So I'm just going to wait for a minute if there are any questions. All right. So since there are no questions, I'm gradually going to move on to certain tips and tools, techniques that you can use to help yourselves, empower your relationships, and to help yourselves create more healthy relationships, or to work on the already existing relationships. So the first tip and tool that each one of you can use to help yourself is by communicating in the most harmonious and healthy manner. So 3 tips or 3 exercises that you can use that will help you communicate in a healthy manner. First of all is in the first tip, I mean 3 steps that you can use is, the first step is whichever individual it is that you have your relationship with, whether it is your loved one as in your partner, or whether it's with your family member, or whether it's with your friend, you start off by acknowledging them positively, harmoniously, and with an honest statement. So for example, if I've had a major argument with a very close childhood friend, and I'm disturbed with her because of this argument, I will start off with a positive, harmonious tip, something that's honest, that I honestly feel for her. For example, Priya, I genuinely acknowledge the way our relationship has turned out so well, and I genuinely acknowledge your understanding nature in our friendship. So that's me being honest, that's me stating a positive statement. So that's the first step in that harmonious communication, establishing that harmonious communication. The second step that I use is using I messages. So I messages are basically messages in which I'm using the word I instead of using the word you, because here I'm not labeling anyone or I'm not putting the blame. I am taking responsibility of whatever it is that has happened. This in turn makes the opposite person open up better, makes the opposite person understand the whole dynamic better, makes the opposite person respond in a more harmonious and positive manner. So continuing forward with the same example, I would state that Priya, I have been feeling very uncomfortable because of everything that happened in the past week, and I feel that because of that I am not able to open up much, and I do not like that because I genuinely enjoy talking with you and I wish to maintain that same bond with you. So here I'm saying the same thing that I wanted to say, but I'm saying it in a manner that she understands. Instead of saying it, how we usually say it in communication, that you acted in a very rude manner, I feel so hurt, I feel so uncomfortable because you were so defensive because of this fight, blah blah blah, whatever it is, that will make my friend more defensive, that will close her up, and she will not even listen to anything. With the first sentence that she just hears me saying, wherein I'm blaming her, she will just shut off for everything else, and that will just increase the problem even further. So that is the second step in establishing that harmonious communication. The third and the most crucial step in establishing and making sure that this harmonious relationship is working out the right way is establishing a healthy boundary. So stating that I expect that in the next week we will be continuing with our same harmonious friendship that we've always had for so many years. I look forward to interacting with you the same way that we've done so far. I look forward to experiencing that same positive bond that we've had so far. So that is how you can use your third step in establishing that
अच्छा
harmonious
वाला है.
communication. Hi, for new people who've just joined in, thank you for joining in. I have just been talking about tips and tools and techniques that I am providing to establish a harmonious communication, to establish and to work on your previous relationships. So those are the three steps that you can do in order to make sure that your relationship and your communication is more empowered and more strong. First of all, state an honest, positive, empowering statement about whoever it is that you share your relationship with. That's the first thing. Second of all, you use I statements, so you end up taking complete responsibility for your own self. You are not blaming anyone else. You are not closing yourself off. So that is the second step. And the third step that you do in order to ensure or in order to ensure a harmonious relationship is wherein you state or establish healthy boundaries. When you establish healthy boundaries, it's going to make it more easy for you to communicate and to make sure that your established relationship, whoever it was with, just continues seamlessly and endlessly. So that's how you go around establishing and creating this healthy communication. So that is the first tip. The second tip that you can do is when, for example, in an argument you're having, whether again it's with your partner or with your friend, when you're arguing with someone, sorry, there was probably some sort of issue. So I'm just going to repeat the last statement. When you continue with these sort of honest, statements, and when you start off your communication with these sort of honest statements, then it makes the opposite person also calm down much better, because the opposite person is already extremely disturbed for whatever XYZ reason. So when you're, also flaring up, it's not helping, it's adding on more fuel to that existing fire, and it's blowing up that argument or that issue even further. Instead, at that point of time, if you can maintain your own calm and your own composure, you will observe that it's helping you bring the situation sort of at a more harmonious level faster. So that is the second tip that you can also use. The third tip that you can use, especially when you're communicating and expressing, is to honestly state your intentions. So clear your intentions out. So for example, if you want to say something to, for example, whoever it is that you're sharing that relationship with, start off by saying, I genuinely care for you. I really see a lot of scope, for improvement in this. I feel that this particular habit, or I feel that this particular behavior trait is not helping you progress ahead the right way, and because of that I am providing my feedback and my input. When you say it in this manner, trust me, the opposite person will always 95% of the times listen to your feedback, because they realize that your intentions are positive, they realize that your intentions are true and honest and harmonious, and they will respond back in an open manner with you. I have used this extensively with my clients, I have used this extensively in my own personal relationships, and I have found a drastic shift. I have felt and understood that people almost always tend to realize where you're coming from. Not only that, after I've used this technique, I've realized that people tend to respond in a much more open manner with me as a result of this. So go ahead, use this, and I'm sure it's going to help you out, each one of you out excessively as well. The next tip that I'm going to provide is identify your own negative patterns or your own overworked up patterns or disharmonious patterns that you might end up functioning from when you're trying to communicate something out. So for example, if you're in a relationship with your partner, is it you who's coming forward from some earlier pattern that was, not helping you function ahead the right way, and because of that it was further creating more disharmonious relationships? When you end up identifying that, it helps you progress ahead, in a much better manner. So for example, you've had a major fight with your girlfriend or boyfriend, and you're going to tell them that I did not like the way you were so rude, or I did not like the way that you reacted to this. Agree, they must have behaved in a rude manner, but just analyze and observe your behavior before they acted in that rude manner. Did you do something, that sort of incited this, or were you coming from sort of a not great space? Did you just have a really bad day at work, and did you just end up dumping that negativity or, that sort of not great mood on your partner, and because of which then they ended up acting in a rude manner? Or did you get triggered off with your partner's behavior because you ended up realizing that in the past a very close friend also acted in a similar manner with you? So identify, see, observe, analyze. Are you coming from your own unworked, unclosed wounds, distorted patterns? If so, then once you've identified them, be conscious of them, work on them harmoniously, help yourself, take therapy, deal with that and heal yourself, help yourself heal out that disturbed pattern, that rooted belief, that whatever behavior trait it is that triggered you off. Because when you know, work on yourself and you realize that, you know, you're healing yourself, your relationship, your way of communicating, your way of expressing will also change. And as a result of that, this will further empower your relationship with your partner in an excellent manner. So that is also something you can do. I have two more tips and techniques. These are very, very useful, very strong techniques. The second last tip and technique is, if you are having any disputes, minor or major, with your partner, as a couple in this current situation, you could actually do a lot of couple activities, such as do couple meditation together, or together sit down and color or doodle or dance together or cook together, read together, you know. So this is going to create that harmonious space around the two of you. For people who share or need to, you know, work on empowering their relationships, not with their partners, but in other areas of their life, such as in your career, or such as in your, you know, relationship with your friends or with your family members that you're not in close proximity with right now, the last tip is going to help each one of you. So in the last tip, basically each one of you can take a spare pillow, any spare pillow that you might have lying around, you know, near you. Take that spare pillow, and absolutely anything and everything that you wanted to convey out to that person that you're involved in that relationship, in that communication with, which you could not convey out earlier on, or even if you have conveyed out, you still end up feeling disturbed, then use that spare pillow. Imagine, envision that that person that you've had a problem with is in front of you, pillow continuously. And as you continuously keep punching on that pillow, you will observe that your body is starting to vent out, is starting to release out everything that stuck up energy, that stuck up anger, that stuck up hurt, that stuck up disturbance even faster. And as it's starting to do so, you will end up feeling a more harmonious, you know, relaxation. You will start feeling a lot more peace of mind within yourself. But the idea is that you consistently do this, and you continuously do the punching exercise for at least a minimum of 15 to 20 minutes, till the extent that your knuckles, your hands, your fingertips should pain, because then your body would have actually vented and released out. Initially, you might feel that this is a little silly, or you might not feel the urge to punch, but push yourself out of your comfort zone. Do this in a safe space, you know, in your own personal room. Close your room, do it in your own private space, but go ahead and do it, because trust me, the amount of relief you will feel after that will be worth all of this. I use this extensively with my clients, and they immediately feel very, very good, because it's very relaxing, because you're using all the senses of your body here. So that's my last tip. I'm just going to give an extra tip also, and that is that, for again, whatever issue you have in your past existing relationships that you've either voiced out, or that you still feel the need to voice out, or you might not have voiced out or expressed out, take a sheet of paper. This can be absolutely any sheet of paper, or your personal diary, or anywhere else, and start writing down absolutely every single thing that you feel affected with in that relationship from that concerned person's behavior. You can write down the same thing also 50 times. It doesn't really matter. But once you've written down everything, you know, even if you've repeated the same thing or the same incident, make sure you've written this in as much detail as possible. So for example, you've had a fight with your you know, boss. Then, I really, really hate my boss, XYZ, the boss's name. How can he be so mean with me? How can he be so dominating? Even in this current situation, he's forcing so much work on me from home. He doesn't realize that I have two young kids, that my partner is demanding, you know, time, that I have other household chores. I don't have any household help. I have to manage so much. He's still putting in so much pressure. asking me to complete unnecessary deadlines, whatever it is. But make sure you add in as many details. I end up feeling so frustrated, so angry. I'm not getting enough time, to work on my own self. I'm not getting my space. As a result of that, I feel this anger massively. So locate it wherever that emotion, whatever those emotions are. Locate and identify where those emotions are in your body. So I end up feeling very angry in my chest. I end up feeling very hurt in my head, for example, and it's coming out as pain. Write all of that down. And once you've written it all down, when you finished it completely and you feel again that, yeah, I'm done writing everything down, put that sheet of paper or hold that sheet of paper in front of you without rereading it or glancing at it. Start tearing it off. And once you've torn it off, discard away those torn off small bits in the dustbin or burn them off, whichever you feel works for you. Because the idea here is to not reread or glance through them, because that way your body, your mind, and your brain gets an idea that you've actually released out all of that stuck up, stored up toxicity, energy completely from your entire being. So that was my last tip for all of you. If there are again any questions, then please let me know. If you don't want to use your audio, you can communicate through the chat option, and I will still read, and I will still respond. And if not, then we are gradually going to move ahead to the final section, which is we're going to start off with the experiential exercise. But I'm just going to wait for like a minute, so that if there are any questions or any queries or anything else that each one of you might want to share with connection to everything I've said, go ahead, put that down, please, and then we'll start. All right. So if there are no questions, then I would request each one of you, please, to start taking in 3 deep breaths. Breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your mouth, and completely relax, each one of you. And with every breath, as you're helping yourself relax, make sure that you have a strong back support behind you. And we're gradually going to start off with the experiential exercise. So for each one of you, closing your eyes, start taking in 3 deep breaths, please. Breathe in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth, and completely relax with every breath that you're taking. Breathe in and breathe out. Your time. And as you're breathing in and out today, as I count from 3 down to 0, gradually allow yourself to go in a safe, comfortable, open space. And once you reach that safe, comfortable, open space, keep moving in that till you find a spot where you would like to sit back, and from where you would like to continue with the remaining session. And again, take your time, no hurry. For those of you who've successfully found their safe, comfortable spot, sit back and continue with your deep breaths. And as each one of you is continuing with your deep breaths, today call forward that one specific person with whom you want to empower your relationship further, with whom you want to create that harmonious, positive bond even further in an even better manner. And take your time. When that one specific person is in front of you, keeping your eyes shut, observe them, thank them for coming in. And as they've come in front of you, extend your hands out to them and tell them, I am genuinely grateful for having you in my life. And today, I choose to strengthen this relationship between us even further. Today, I choose to empower this relationship between us in an even better manner. And gradually, you will notice and observe that whoever that concerned individual is, he or she will also extend their hands out at you. This is a universal process. So you can do this for your partner that you are in a romantic relationship with. You can do this with your child. You can do this with your loved family member. You can do this for a professional relationship that you want to make a better bond in. Or you can even do this with your own self. And as the opposite person is also extending their hand out at you, continuing with your deep breaths, as I count from 1 to 3, allow the beautiful energies of the divine and universe to start spreading over the two of you, starting from your head region, from the top of you both, encircling you both in this positive, harmonious bubble, gradually moving further down from your head region, in your face, further down in your necks, in your shoulders, gradually seeping further in your heart regions and in your chest. And as it is doing so, this beautiful energy is creating a harmonious bond, is establishing a positive relationship between you and the opposite concerned person. And as this harmonious bond and positive relationship is getting more strong, getting more re-established, feel this beautiful energy of infinite love, acceptance, acknowledgement, happiness, respect for the opposite person, for your own self, and allow this beautiful, harmonious energy now to spread itself out completely within the two of you. Taking deep breaths, let this beautiful energy magnify, multiply by 1,000 times today, and feel its beautiful effects within each one of you. And take your time. Continue with your deep breaths and help yourselves breathe in this beautiful energy completely. Keep feeling this within your own energy systems, within yourselves, in your entire bodies today. And gradually allow this beautiful energy to now move further down from your heart regions into your stomach, helping you both encounter every challenge, every obstacle that you might face further with complete happiness, optimism, openness, and acceptance of each other, of each other's behaviors, of each other's thought processes, helping each other build up further, holding hands and helping each other progress ahead further. And gradually breathing in this beautiful energy, bringing it further down from the stomach, now into your thighs. As it's entering in the thighs, bringing with it a sense of calmness, peace, and relaxation. Take your time again, no hurry. Keep breathing in this beautiful energy. Help it strengthen and empower you to even further in an even more harmonious manner. And gradually continuing with your deep breaths, bringing this beautiful energy further down from the thighs, now in the knee region, pulling out all forms of fear and insecurity, and instead bringing in complete stability, security, openness in the knees, bringing in complete harmony in the knees, opening you up to experience this stability in your relationship with each other, in your bond with one another. Breathe in this beautiful energy once again. And finally, bringing this energy further down from the knees, all the way in till it's entering in your ankles, in your entire feet. And as it is doing so, bringing in complete relaxation, flexibility, adaptability, and progress in your relationship with one another, in your bond, in your communication with each other. Breathe in and take in this beautiful energy completely as well in your entire system today. And as you both continue to hold hands, as you both continue to establish this harmonious relationship with each other, see a protective shield bubble like positive energy that was already generated around you two, now getting more and more strong, more and more empowered with every breath that you do take. So that no matter where you are, even post this session, you end up feeling this positivity and this harmony always. And with every breath that you take from now on, this bond is just going to become more and more strong, more and more harmonious, more and more positive in every manner. And now, gradually, as you're holding hands, as I count from 1 to 3, see the two of you moving ahead in a completely harmonious manner. Moving ahead, progressing ahead in life, in whichever area that you two are connected with. And as you're seeing this, store the visual of this image in your mind, in your brain. Hold on to this memory dearly and inform yourself that you've taken the first step today to empower your relationship, that you've taken the first step today to induce in more positivity, that you've taken the first step today to strengthen your existing relationship and your bond. And thank yourself and whoever that individual is that's also cooperated and come in today. Thank them as well, on your as well as my behalf. Request that concerned person to go back to where they need to, but with the awareness that irrespective of whichever environment they go back in, they will also continue to feel this harmonious effect within themselves. Taking deep breaths, gradually allow yourself to come back out from that space, from your own personal open space. Take your time, and when you see yourself coming out, as I count from 1 to 3, you can gradually open your eyes. 1, 2, 3. And take your time. And if any of you might have any questions at this point of time, please let me know. You can also put them down in the and if not, then that will be the end of today's session. I hope it was useful for each one of you. If you still need more clarity or you still need to work more in depth, you can also take a one-to-one session with me through our Illuminations website. If you still want to share or have further queries, you can again contact me again through the Illuminations website and I will reach out to you. And I thank each one of you today for being a part of this. and for just going through this process in such an easy manner. I hope it was useful to all of you. And I'm going to end this session here. Have a great day, each one of you. Have an excellent weekend and stay safe.